Welcome to the Orange Power Podcast, and we're going to talk some women's tennis. And joining us now is the head coach of the Cowgirls, Coach Chris Young. And, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good to have you on the show, talking some Cowgirl tennis. First chance we've had to do this year. Let's talk about the season. I was thinking about just the season and where you guys are right now and where you're at in the standings and how things are going. And I came up with the term ahead of schedule, but when the program's at such a high sustained level as it has been, I don't know if you're ever ahead of schedule because that's just always the expectation. But some outside the program didn't think maybe this was a year to make a run at the Big 12 title, but not so fast, right? This team is in a great spot right now.
Yeah, I think that's the thing about our program is every year we have the expectation to compete for it, and when kids come in, that's their goals. And that's their expectations. We thought we were going to have, a player in Lisa Marie at the top of the lineup that would give us a chance to really do that. And then when we didn't, I think a lot of people maybe outside of us thought that, okay, without her, it's going to be tough for them to be contenders. But I think this team has really grown throughout the year. I think playing a really tough non-conference schedule put us in situations where we had to grow and we had to develop. And I think that's the biggest key for this team is just how they developed. We're maybe not on paper as talented as we've been in, other people's eyes as far as having highly ranked players, but it's more of a team, and the depth of the team has really shown through to us in some of our biggest matches.
Well, and so where were you preseason?
In the country?
Preseason poll, Big 12.
Third.
So,
yeah,
again.
we were 13 in the country preseason and third in the Big 12. But, you had Oklahoma and Texas play for the national championship last year, so they kind of we're up there ahead of us to start preseason.
Yet, let's look at the standings. You guys, the last undefeated team in the conference. So, obviously, again, it's gone really well. And let's go back. You mentioned your schedule and the preparation for the conference and where you guys are. You took it on the chin a few times early, but you also had, again, we're waiting on the decision from the NCAA. So the roster, the lineup looked different. You had some injury, some illness, a lot of moving, and all of a sudden now it seems like all those pieces are finally starting to settle in.
Yeah, when you look at it from last year, we came into this season without our top four from last year. So when you're looking at a team that was a top 10 team last year, and then you had Lisa number one, we weren't sure what was going to happen. We were waiting for the majority of the year to see what would happen. We had our number two player, who was the freshman of the year in the conference, decide to turn pro, and that was a hit that we just didn't expect. And then you had Martina Zarullo, who played 3 last year, that had multiple back surgeries in the summer and the fall, and so we didn't know how she was going to come back. And so you look at these situations and people that, all 3 of those kids at the end of last year, you thought they're going to be really key contributors to next year. And throughout the summer and fall, you're expecting that that's going to be the team, and then you start the spring season, and now we just have 6 players, and we are who we are. And we played Michigan twice and lost. We lost to them at home in a match. We had match points to win the doubles and lost a tight one, then went up to their place and had a tough match with them. We lost a 4-3 to Ohio State, where we had the lead in the last match on, and then lost a tight one at Pepperdine. So we lost 3 matches on the road to top 5 teams, and of our 4 losses, everybody's in the top 5 currently. So we tested ourselves, and that's what we've always done in this program. Our schedule is always going to be tough, and that's how you recruit top players. That's how you develop players into being top players. And I think that's been the secret to this year's team, is they weathered those tough moments, they learned from them, and they took those early season losses and made something out of it.
So let's go to conference, get people caught up. You guys go on the road and beat Texas and Baylor on the road. One of the few times that's happened in your program to win both of those matches, again, on the road. And in Texas, you had Gonzalez was the number 6. So, again, because of injury and some other things going on. And was that the turning point? Because you've been forced to develop kids. You talked about a short roster. Now all of a sudden you got a freshman that comes in and helps get that win and is a big part of that whole match. That almost seemed like to be a light bulb came on for this team. Went, okay, we got this, and you've been on a roll ever since.
Yeah, I think that it was a situation where that was the match. You're playing the 2-time defending national champions in Texas, who the last 2 years really had just been hard to beat for anybody in college tennis. We'd had some tough matches with them. We had done some things to put us in position, but never been able to get across the finish line with them. You go back to that weekend, opening weekend of Big 12 play, and you're at Texas and at Baylor on a Friday night, and Baylor's always a strong team. Traditionally, Baylor and Texas, when I first came in the league in 2008, 2009, that in that time frame, Baylor was going to Sweet 16s and Elite 8s every year, and then obviously you got Texas. So this is only the second time that we've swept that weekend in the last 15 years. And it's a situation where, you might get one of them, but getting both of them is tough. And we had a 4-3 against Baylor on Friday night where it came down to our girls just having to be tough and win some tough matches. And then you go into Texas, and when you won the doubles point, I think the light bulb went off in that point where our girls okay, like in Texas, they stepped back just a little bit where usually like when things got tough in the years past, they were really there to take it. And I felt like we were the ones that took it. But the doubles point was so physical. It lasted over an hour. And we felt like Zarullo, still coming back from her back injury, she had gave us everything that she had in doubles. So we needed to go back to the 6 that had kind of been playing earlier in the year. And that meant that we had a freshman, Gonzalez, at 6. Interesting thing about that match is every match was straight sets. There were no 3-setters.
Wow.
And so Texas won at 1, 2, and 3. They were close sets, 6-4 sets, 7-5 sets. But we won at 4, 5, and 6. And just the way that it came down, all of those matches ended at really just about the same time. When Ayumi Miyamoto won to tie it up at 3-all, then you had Gonzalez serving for the match, so she just needed to win one more game. And so there wasn't like this big dramatic build-up where in a lot of situations everybody moves to one court and they're going to watch several games. I think that probably as a freshman helped her that she only had one game. But she had one game to serve it out, and she realized that, and to her credit, she stepped up and did it. And then from there, I think the team really realized, okay, this is fun to do these types of things, and we're capable as well.
Well, and then just to wrap it up again before we talk about this weekend, doubles points. You mentioned doubles. You guys got the doubles point against Texas, against Baylor, against TCU. Then you'd lose the doubles points against Texas Tech, but you still beat them 5-2. So it's one of those deals where doubles can always be the swing point. You won 4-3, 4-3 Texas Baylor and Baylor Texas. So obviously the doubles point was huge. But you won your first match having lost the doubles point against Tech. So again, this team's starting to figure a lot of things out, can win a lot of different ways.
Yeah, you always wonder when that happens. We had gone on a streak where we had changed our doubles teams up. And then we went on a roll and had won the doubles point several times in a row. And you kind of get comfortable thinking, okay, this is, going to happen every time. And then also you think this is how we have to win. And then you lose the doubles point. We had a match point against Texas Tech in the doubles. So to lose that after being 1 point away, you're really curious how the team's going to respond. And in that situation, I had a decision to make. Do we keep Zarullo in? Do we move her out? And we decided, okay, now she's ready to go. We keep her in, and we came out, and the girls won all 6 first sets. So on every court, the girls won the first sets, and that's the type of response that you want to see from a resilient team, and that's the thing that's been making this team special is they don't panic.
You guys have 2 more home matches, then you go on the road for the final 3. You're in a great spot for the Big 12, and I know it's too early to focus on the trophy, but this is a huge weekend. You guys have had tremendous success. I'm not jinxing the no-hitter. You've had a tremendous amount of success against Iowa State, but they come in at number 10, and that's not normal that for them to be ranked at number 10. They've been high as, number 6 in the season. So this is going to be a huge match, and you have really put out a huge plea for fans. Let's fill this place. Inside, outside, wherever it ends up, it's a big match.
It is a big match. And this, right now we're in a really good spot, but we can be in an even better spot because Texas, OU, and Iowa State each have 1 loss. So even though we're the undefeated team, we can't slip up because there's 3 really good teams behind us. And Texas coming off a win over Iowa State last weekend, they're right there on our heels, just waiting for us to slip up. And so, I think it's a situation where we have great success at the Greenwood Tennis Center. We've had a good fan base, but I think we still want to grow it. And these are one of the matches and opportunities of a weekend where you can grow your fan base. You get people out there to a big-time matchup. You create a good atmosphere. People have a lot of fun. They see how intense and energetic college tennis is, and if everything goes well, then those people want to come back, and so that's what we need.
Well, yeah, this is a chance to give one of those good teams their second loss and put them behind you a little bit. 5 o'clock on Friday night. Now, I find this fascinating. Last year, you guys played in 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Ames, Iowa, because their indoor wasn't available. Potentially 50-mile-an-hour wind gust in Stillwater. Your indoor is available, but I think you still got a chance to go outside.
We'd like to play outside if at all possible. It's a situation where the Big 12 rules are a little bit more lenient than the regular college tennis rules, because not every school in the Big 12 has their own dedicated indoor facility, and so sometimes when you're moving around at different locations, it's just easier to suck it up and play a little bit in difficult conditions. I think that's one of the things about our team, is that we've been able to play regardless of the conditions. That mental toughness that our team has, that's our strength. And so you don't want to lose that by, evening the playing field a little bit more. So we'll see what happens. But the great thing about the Greenwood Tennis Center is it's a great setup either inside or out.
So after that, the most important match is the next one, right? West Virginia. It's the final regular season home match. It's senior day, Sunday at 1 o'clock, and another chance for fans to send out those kids. Right now, obviously, you hope to be back for regionals, but for the last one on the regular season, another huge one coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, senior day is always something that's special for those kids. You get to honor them. It gets to be about them for one day, and so you want to give them a great opportunity. Actually, as I was walking in here, we finished up the information that we're going to move the match to 12 o'clock on Sunday, so we want to get that messaging out there to people. West Virginia has a little time constraints with their flights, and so they were a little bit nervous about it. And so we made the decision that we would move the match to 12. I think it helps us because baseball is at 1, so hopefully people can come out and try to catch both events. I know when sometimes we're scheduled at the same time, it's a conflict, and these schedules are made way in advance, and then you realize, okay, we're all now in the same boat. So we're going to try to go at 12. We're going to have a food truck out there. So we want people to come out and grab some food, watch some Cowgirl tennis, and then they can move over to baseball once we honor our seniors.
Should be a lot of fun again. So there you go. It's on Friday night, 5 o'clock with Iowa State, now noon on Sunday with West Virginia. See why I always appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
All right. That's going to wrap it up for Coach Chris Young. I'm Casey Kendrick. See you guys next time on the Orange Power Podcast.